Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the weekly market outlook and SG discussions on the 5th of September 2021. So this week, we are going to look at the market outlook again using the indices chart, and of course, we are going to look at the Singapore market. And today I'm going to introduce to you a new charting software, which I am going to show you and demonstrate to you how do we use it later on. So if you're interested, you can also sign on to the chart for free. Okay, so without further ado, let's start off with our usual market indices. And we shall start off with the chart over here. We have the Dow. So we can see the Dow for the whole of last week. It has been moving in a consolidated movement where we see a tight range of movement here from this 35284 to 355 to 35500. So thereabout. And it is still not up to our target as yet. Okay, so the non-farm payroll last Friday was quite a disappointing one. That's why it led to a lower closing for the Dow. But going forward, the market may see this as a good news. Why? Because it may delay the tapering process, and of course, the interest rate may be kept low as what they say until 2023. So how would the market will react to the continuously to the non-farm payroll? So we'll only know on Tuesday. Point to note is that the US market is closed for holiday tomorrow. So please do not log in tomorrow night at 9:30 and find that the system is not moving and there's a system bug. In fact, the US is enjoying the holiday. Let's move to S&P 500. We are looking at S&P 500 over here hitting our target last week. A fantastic target. So are we going to shift the target? We are not going to shift as yet, because it's only when it goes above, then we're going to shift it. So let's see, because this time around I'm not going to shift it until it goes above. So let's see whether S&P 500 on Tuesday can cross above the target, or it wants to pull back to retest its support at 4487 around there, okay, or 4482. So if it pull back to 4482, then we are likely to see S&P 500 to hit below 4511 first. Then it may proceed to move lower to test this so-called support level. But the chart is still bullish, so every positive movement above 4542 may trigger more upward movement. Okay, and if next week it goes above, then this will be the target. So since I say that I'm not going to shift the target, but I'm going to backtrack, take back what I've said, and then just project a little bit. If the bullishness continues, the next target will be around 4648. Okay, so S&P 500 hasn't disappointed for now, but I would prefer it to pull back to 4482 to have a good rest before it rally towards the next target. Nasdaq 100 had a good closing on Friday, but it is still a distance away from the target. Overall, it still remains positive as it remains at the top. There isn't any strong bearish sign as well, but of course, it will be good that it can have a short rest before it move up to hit the target at 15824. So overall, if you look at the 3 US chart, they are relatively bullish, and the Dow, although under consolidation, there's still chance for a potential breakout later on. So next week could be a sign of more potential upward movement, or there could be sign of more potential upward movement if the Dow or the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq can break out upwards. The Singapore market, we are moving in a downtrend for now. So as you can see, we have lower low and lower high. And this seemingly can be a lower high if this STI were to retest this 3050 support level. Now, I'd like to draw a channel line over here to also further illustrate what happened to the index over here. So you can see that the index have a channel. Okay, over here. Let me just do a nice plot over here. Okay, a downtrend channel. So if the STI can stays above this downtrend line, there is still chance that it may not move into a downtrend, but rather change its direction. And of course, the upward movement has to bring STI to 3126 in order to break into a new trend. So can we do it next week? So it will be a good thing to see if we can test 3126 next week. Moving on, we have the individual charts here. We are going to take a look at the banks first. I'm going to turn on the banks, DBS over here. So why do I want to turn on the banks? Mainly because, of course, you can see DBS is holding very well above its support level, above 2990. It has a resistance at around 3056. Okay, and the closing on Friday seems to be positive as we see lower shadow over here. And the important thing that we need to see next is that the DBS were to move up towards 3056 resistance in order to start a new trend process. But of course, it must break out from 3056 in order to go into that uptrend. Can we see it next week? That is important for us to know. And if the market doesn't hit 3056, but go to 2990 or 2984, because if it breaks below this, then we have a downtrend continuation pattern, and the next will be 2956 support. OCBC has a hammer pattern as well, and the long lower shadow at the near its support, or rather it's just above its support level, and the resistance that we want OCBC to test is 1182. Once it tests 1182, then it has a chance to break into an uptrend or change a trend. So breaking 1182 will definitely help it to move into uptrend, but resisted by it may start another round of consolidation or even sideways. UOB, as I saw earlier, had a double hammer and really has to move back into this 2596 in order to go back to its bullish way. If it breaks below 2540, then we may see more downward movement towards 2506. So which direction is more possible? From the closing, from the candle pattern, there is still chance for more positive action. Just in case if anything were to go back to its low, then we may want to check out the support level. And if I were to switch to the weekly chart, so I want to see, is there any very bad sign? UOB as of now, not really. It doesn't have a lot, except that, of course, you can see that there are 3 black candles, and we need a white candle to signify a rebound. Okay, then we have OCBC. Let's see the weekly chart. The weekly chart is a nice bullish harami pattern. So this harami pattern, right, give the counter a chance to rebound. But if next Friday it close higher, so it must close above 1171 in order to be bullish. Then DBS, let's take a look at the weekly chart. So we have the weekly chart looking okay. If you were to zoom out, the chart still remains in uptrend, looking still fine. So what is it going to be next week? Right, very importantly, we'd like to know how it closes next Friday as well. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at some bullish counter. We are looking at the IFAST right now. So IFAST, I've been tracking very closely and wanted to get into the counter. So you can see here, when IFAST breaks above this downtrend line, right, in fact, it had a symmetrical triangle breakout. So the if you look at the bullish upward movement over here, it comes with increasing volume. So it tells us that there are more buyers, buying pressure than selling pressure. And with it moving towards its resistance, so the best is that next week it can test 892 resistance. Then from there, slowly pull back. Okay, pull back to find some support over here. Okay, where if I would extend this uptrend line, okay, it may be around here, okay, or here. So somewhere around this zone, and then we find an entry over here. This is our next best chance to enter into IFAST before it rebound back to 892, break up from there. Then we can see the counter move up to challenge its 963 level. So hopefully this can happen to give us a chance. So when it tests 892 and pull back to form a low here, it is also forming an ascending pattern, therefore strengthening the chance of moving higher. So we shall see whether next week, IFAST can really do that. Now, let's move a little bit off track from the bullish counter. Let's move back to the sector where we are going to talk about the tech. UMS pending bonus announcement. We have seen 3 days of pullback. Overall, the trends remain up as of now, but it need to move back to test the 176 level in order to maintain bullish. If it continue to move down to 164, then of course it may be a topish sign where we can see a mini double top over here. But will it move into downtrend? The result is good. The corporate action is positive. I wouldn't think that it will go into a persistent downtrend. Maybe a short-term pullback, find some support, and rebound is possible. So let's watch these two levels or these levels for more clarity. Nano firm is still consolidating. It doesn't look bearish as of now, but you need to move towards 450 or 449 to form the next higher low in order to move into an uptrend. Unless nano firm breaks below 425, then we may see some downtrend or downward movement. If not, nano firm should be fine. AEM, we have seen the counter fell short of its upward movement over here. So if this upward movement had brought this counter to 424 resistance, it probably would show more positive signs. But unfortunately, it did not. It pulled back 2 days with light volume. That is some comfort. But the rebound over here fell short of expectation. If it had closed 417, it would definitely gives the counter a chance to run for the next bull, or to go for the next bull run. So we're going to watch how AEM will react over here. The next candle is very important. If it's a white candle to close above 417, then we have really a positive outlook going forward. Then ISDN, the counter is still sleeping. Maybe I can call it sleeping beauty. This counter is still trying to rebound, holding above its support level at 6.3. So it attempt to rebound over here during this particular day, but the rebound failed. So what happened is that it go back down to retest 63 and managed to hold at that level. So the same old kind of view on this counter is that this counter really has to rebound to hit 63 to form a rather 67, beg your pardon, to form a bottom formation, double bottom formation, right? Else it could be facing more selling pressure before it can recover. I don't think, again, I don't think that this counter is going to go for a persistent long-term downtrend, but we may still feel some weakness along the way before it can really recover back to where it was. Okay, so got to watch further. Next, we are going to look at sets, as I covered last week's sets. This counter has pulled back to test its support level. The hammer over here, the hammer pattern over here did not get a confirmation, and therefore the counter remains weak. And we are looking at this support got to hold, and the next white candle will be an important one, because this white candle would suggest that this counter has a chance to continue higher. But if it doesn't, then breaking support would suggest that this counter may go lower to 397. So the support now is around 4.03. Right. Next, let's talk a little bit on Samudera, just to have a quick follow-up. Remember last week I mentioned that a 5-1 target is still viable, etc. Blah blah blah. And this what happened to this counter. This counter remains strong. The closing was unbelievable. This counter, right, the stun me like a vegetable, where it has moved up to a 5-6. Right, excuse me for the language, but yeah, this counter has been strong. Right, the news as it is that there are some congestions in the China ports. So China has a few ports apparently, and some of the ports are not opening up because of the COVID cases. So they shut down to prevent the cases from spreading, if I'm not wrong, if I understand it correctly. If I'm wrong, you can leave a message and then share with me that news as well. Then so the market remained bullish on Samudera, and then this is what happened. So is there going to be a pullback? I think it should be coming, because the counter has been overextended. So if I pull in an indicator called Bollinger Band, it has been out of the band, and this is considered overbought region. And the tendency to retest the center line, which is the normalcy level, has increased. So we shall see what happens. I'm not definitely think that this, I'm not going to think that this counter is going to go for a downtrend, but a quick pullback may be possible. Okay, so next is one counter that I always talk about, but hasn't been doing well for the 1 week, again, the last week. So you can see a strong gap out over here, but the closing, right? If you were to recap last week video, I purposely go through the candlesticks patterns and or rather, how do we read candlesticks to be more exact? And we can see higher opening, very high opening, but low closing. So that led to the downfall where, ComfortDelGro came back down towards the 160 level, 159 level, and 158 level over here. So the chart definitely don't look bullish as the attempt to change in trend fail. So it's very hard for us to anticipate what could be the next movement for ComfortDelGro. Of course, definitely breaking below 158 would smell more blood coming, where this counter may retest its major support 153. So you got to take note. The next bearish counter could be Sembcorp Industry, because you can see this counter has the sign of a downtrend, and with the lower lows and lower high, if it can break this low, it definitely is going lower. Okay, so this is 192 support. So if you break below 192, definitely it has a chance to go down lower and towards the next target at 187. Okay, so do pay attention if it breaks the support level. Okay, so this concludes the Singapore stocks analysis that I have for you this week. Now I'm going to move into this new charting software that I would like you to, pay attention to. And if you're interested, feel free to sign up for free. So I was told the feature right now is open up free for use. Okay, so while the feature is still free for use, do take advantage of it. Anyway, it's free. Just go sign up and then use it every day to analyze, to do your stock analysis every day. Okay, so this chart, the web link is a web-based chart. So the web link is here, webchart.chartnexus.com. Okay, so once you type this into this bar, this link, this address bar, www bar, then this is where you can actually get to here. Else, if you find it too difficult, just type chartnexus.com, and then there is a signage that lead to here. Okay, so if you have difficulties reaching here, do feel free to ping me, and then I will guide you as well. Okay, so what do we have here? Here you can see the chart. Now, one interesting part about this is that this charting tools comes with intraday charts. Yes, comes with intraday chart, and it has delayed price action. So meaning to say, you will see that when the market is running, the chart will be updating, but it's delayed. I think it's 15 minutes delayed. So here, if you click on this option, you will be able to switch, right, to different time frame of chart. Okay, so those who like to trade the US market, right, and want to use the intraday chart to have a reference, you can set, say, 5-minute chart. So this is AMD 5-minute chart over here. So I'm just sharing with you my personal preference in terms of trading the intraday chart is that we are always looking at the swings. Over here we are looking at support and resistance, so I can plot using these drawing tools over here, the support and resistance line. So I can just toggle open the tools, and then I can plot the its resistance, and then and its intraday support over here. Then I will take a look at the latest candle and see whether, if the market is still moving over here, once it retests this support level, how would it react? So if it rebound from this support level, then I may consider entering a position for intraday trade. Okay, but of course, when I say I may, right, there is a few criteria. So this is where I like to turn on the technical indicator, so I can go through the chart over here. Then I can turn on the indicator. Then I would like to use this indicator called Bollinger Band. Okay, so how does this Bollinger Band works? Basically, just now in the Singapore market analysis, I did also use Bollinger Band. But some of you who doesn't know how Bollinger Band works, you can listen to this. Some of you who already know can bear with me. Okay, so if you take note of this Bollinger Band, it actually guides us through the movement. So what kind of movement are we looking at? Now, if you look at this center line, okay, so what are the chances when the stocks cross the center line and move up? Okay, so there's an attempt to cross here. So there's a cross here. Okay, so there's a cross here. Okay, and there's a cross here. So zooming in, so I can just right click, press and hold, and then zoom in and zoom into this portion. Okay, let me just delete off this line, erase off this line over here, erase. Okay, so you can see here, once it cross up, okay, what happened? So once it cross up, what happened? Now, of course, if you manage to get at the instant where it cross up and manage to capitalize on this movement over here, let me just hide this. Then you are looking at an intraday movement of 0.7%. Okay. Then here we are looking at an intraday movement of 0.3 where you move up by 29 cents. So you got to do your position sizing correctly to find out what will be your, break even, and then of course how much onwards you will start to be profitable, because sometimes this movement can bring this counter to resistance, but sometimes you can see it fell short of it. So once you start to see the stocks move up, move again above, and then once you start to see it cross above your break-even level, then you can start to take note already, because once it cross above your break-even level, say it's 10 cents above your break-even level, you may want to set a break-even stop alert, so that once it come back to that break-even level, you may close it first. Okay, or you may want to close it first. Okay, if it doesn't come to the break-even level, then you can just leave it and let the run goes on. Okay, now of course, if you haven't crossed a break-even level, you just watch. Now, of course, does it always mean that you just buy and just leave it there? No, you probably want to look out for a stop loss level. If you were to break low, you may want to stop loss like here. Okay, so this counter, just in case if this gain is not good enough for you to even break even, then you have to watch and then look for stop loss level. Normally, once it breaks low, you may consider exiting over here around this level. Okay, then if I were to move on, and then now I am going to I look at this, facing this signal, right? And if I were to take opportunity, it start to move up to the high 0.5, then I set a break even level. And if this 0.3 or 0.5 doesn't fulfill that break even, so I need at least 1% to see some profit here. Then we are looking at, I just need to take so if it doesn't even achieve a break even, and then you face a pullback, watch for it at this 20 MA again. So if it breaks below, you may want to exit already. But if it stays above, you want to hold Why? Because this 20 MA is a support level. So once it start to rebound, so your original position over here start to move up again, and this is where you can see it now. You are almost hitting a 1% intraday gain. So this would gives you an intraday trade of a nice approximately we call it one handle or $1 gain. So let's say, for example, you buy 300 share, then your profit will be $300, of course, before your commission. Now, if you were to look at this 50-cent gain, of course, it will be 150. So let's say if your Lim and Tan has an intraday commission rate, where if you have trade 4 times, buy, sell, right? Each entry is a maximum of 20, minimum of 10. So let's say if you were to go by the 20, right, where you enter a quite a huge position, that 20 is based on 35,000 US dollar worth. So if you enter quite a huge position, then you could already see profit at 50-cent level. But let's say if you were to enter the minimum, which is 10, you may be entering just 200 share, which is only this. Let me just take a look. 200 share. 200 share times 110, which is 22,000, times 0.07%, which is the comms, which is about $15. Then $15 per trip, about there. Then we are looking at 200 times 50 cents. That will be $100 profit. So then you are looking at a about $60 to $70 profit that night. So some trader, they like to be like a Grab driver, where they nibble every night, $70, $100, $70, $100, and then they are targeting like if I take this $100 every night, $100 every night, multiply by 20 nights of trading, that will be $2,000 US profit. So that is quite a decent one as well. But of course, you got to be a Grab driver or a Grab delivery boy or delivery lady to achieve that. So, so this is where I like to use this indicator, because when these indicators tells me that this counter is breaking or piercing above the 20-day MA, then you are looking at potential upside. So minima, you are looking at a target of $100 profit. Then you do your position size accordingly. So here we are looking at 1.85, where it hit the high. But of course, if you ask me, will you be able to sell at the highest point? I think I won't be that greedy. See, once the stock start to hit this resistance at 111, so this is where I probably start to queue at 1.10. Then this will be a profit for me that night, and I would probably call it a night already. So of course, you have to have 4 trades, 2 buy, 2 sell. So then you can achieve that that lower comms. Okay. So here we are looking at this signal again. Then it breaks above. So this one will be about 50 cents. So here a bit tricky. It depends, because that this counter went up, pierced the 20-day MA a little bit, but it's still above this entry where you see there's a minus support over here. Then it rebound. Okay, so this one I probably would not cut, but rather I would look for a region here to cut. But here this tells and this shows profit for me. And here you see almost above, but it failed. Here it attempt to go up. Probably you may be caught by this long upper shadow. Okay, and then get hit by this. So at this point, when you see that this counter rebound back to its 20-day MA and then it can't pierce above, then here I would take the hit and then just cut and then just rest for the night. Okay. By the way, this is 3 a.m. trade, but I don't think that most of us over here would be able to last every night from 9:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. to trade the US market. So probably this signal you will miss. This signal you may take because this is around 10:20 to 11:35, still within our wake up time. Right, this signal you may not take because this is roughly 3 a.m. Okay, so so this week I'm just covering this feature. I'm just demonstrating how I use this chart, right, using the daily chart and the intraday time frame to time the entry. So there are other features as well, but today we are looking at just the basic where you can, turn on the indicators. From the indicators, create a template, then you can switch around without affecting your original indicators. So let's say the template 2, I would like to have alligator or door chain channels. So I can turn it on, then I can just switch around. Okay. And I will also have this. If let's say I don't want to see all the indicators, I can just click on this and just hide all the indicators and then show all again. And very importantly is that you must know this. You can search for any stocks, right? Or that ChartNexus provide over here. Like for example, I can search for Singapore stocks, ST Engineering. So I can see here, ST Engineering, the Singapore flag is here. And then you can see that at this point of time where I type ST Engineering, the similar, or rather those counter that has ST space EN in it will also appear. So you can see this counter belongs to New York Stock Exchange, this AMEX, this Hong Kong, so this search bar has been improved and made friendly to every one of us so that we can search for any market stocks through this search bar. Okay. And of course, this hand allows you to navigate the chart. This pump allows you to go forward and go backward. And as usual, you left click, you zoom out. You right click, press and hold and drag, you zoom in. All right. So again, if you're interested, do go to webchat.chartnexus.com, sign up an account for yourself, and then you can use this very friendly chart, right, for free. Okay. So if any questions, just drop message through the YouTube, and then I will be answering them as well. So with this, thank you for viewing this video. I hope that is helpful, and have a good week ahead.